So here's what the whole kit looks like when it's plugged in and powered on. Right now I have it running off of a 5-volt power supply, but if you were to power it off of your Guyman basic kit, this is also what you would see. So the thing is, there are a couple problems with how I assembled it. It's basically just a couple of bad solder joints, and that's pretty much it. So if you notice, some of these LEDs are off. I don't know if you can tell, but this LED is off, along with this one, and that one. So typically the problem is that it's not soldered properly, and that's the reason why most of these LEDs don't work, except this one here. So let me see here. I have my button panel here, and I could turn everything off. Notice that this single LED, I don't know how well that's showing up. It's probably showing up as a group of these are on. It's just one LED that's stuck on. So the reason that LED is just stuck on, even the rest of them off, because I turn them off with the little button panel, is because this LED is plugged in backwards. So if you were to flip any of these LEDs, like instead of putting it in the proper way, you flip it 180 degrees, you switch the positive, negative, and plug it in, it would just stay on even if you turn off the display. Well, I mean, disable it by the button. So yeah, so that's the reason that LED is turned on. Notice none of the other ones are on. And I'll prove that it's still plugged in and everything. So yeah. So the problem with that single LED, is that it's just flipped in orientation. So I need to pull that one out, flip it, put it back in. As for the other LEDs that aren't on, I just have to solder them a little bit more, and then they'll work perfectly. Basically, to desolder this LED, I'm going to grip it with pliers. I know you can't really tell what's happening here, but I'm gripping the LED with pliers. And what I'm going to do is find the back side of it and just heat it up with my soldering iron and pull out the LED. Okay, well that LED's been remedied. Now it's time to move on to the LEDs that don't light up. So the easiest way to do that is just to turn all the LEDs on, and you can see which ones aren't lit up. So we have this one, this one, this one, this one, and these two. So to remedy that, this LED here is not turning on. So most of these LEDs can be repaired by just simply flipping the board over and applying a little bit more solder. So we have an LED that's dead right here. I can't see that. You can see that LED is dead, not turning on. So I'm just gonna flip the board over and heat up the pads a little bit, and it should turn right on. And there we have it. Now same thing for this one on the edge. Alright, and on this left ear, and on this right ear, this LED isn't lighting up. And looking on the back here, you can see that the little pad with the resistor isn't completely filled in with solder. So I'm just going to fill that in. And there we go, it lights up. Same thing on this side. So this LED isn't working. And over here, apply some solder. And there we have it. That works. So that's how you fix the LEDs that aren't working. If they're not working, either you have them in backwards or you have a bad LED. If they're lit up, it's typically that you have your LED in backwards if it's lit up when it's not supposed to be. And if it's not turning on, you should probably just replace that LED or check the back to see if you missed a little bit of solder there. Alright, and now I'm just going to go ahead and turn everything off here. So now we're going to go ahead and work on getting all these LEDs in line. Because right now they're kind of a mess, they're all jagged. Not jagged, but not aligned. So the way to do this is you take your soldering iron, heat up each LED, and you push it all the way down. Because the bottoms of LEDs are flat, so if you heat it up and push it all the way down as far as it'll go, it'll straighten out almost every single one of these LEDs. So I'm just going to go ahead and heat up LEDs that are kind of bent out of shape and push them down. And now we're gonna straighten the LEDs out into rows. So soldering or heating up the back kind of straightens the LEDs this way. So if they're crooked like this, you could straighten them like this, so they're all in one direction. However, in this this orientation, they still can be a little bit bent. So what we need is a popsicle stick. Yes, a popsicle stick. So all you need to do is just jam it through here, and it'll straighten most of these LEDs. So just take your popsicle stick, work it through the LEDs here. It should put them all in a row. And then just kind of comb through every row. Alright, there we go. And that's how you align the LEDs in the chin bars, so that they're pretty much parallel to each other. If they're a little bit crooked, most people can't tell from a distance. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're working on these.